Hey YouTube, it's Maisha Marie and I'm back with another video. So in today's video, I will be showing you guys how I do simple, small box braids. So in this clip here, you see I'm basically just stretching the hair just to make sure it doesn't have a blunt, not a blunt cut at the end, but a blunt end. And then I'm also going to comb it out just to make sure I get as many tangles out as possible. All right, so as you can see, my client, she has short hair. She keeps a low haircut. So I had to make sure I part her hair and use enough edge control to make sure that that part stays nice and clean. Now, braiding a person's hair that's this short, there are some techniques that you can learn so that you can better grip the hair. Because I feel that's very important. If a person comes to you and say, hey, I want my hair braided, but you can't grip the hair and it's long enough, if anybody else can grip it, then you should be able to grip it. And I also have fingernails on, so it was very hard for me to grip it. But if you learn this is one simple technique that you can learn. If you can learn to do that, then you won't have no problems when it comes to gripping hair this short. And I'll make a video on that one day just so you guys can know what this technique is and how to do it. It's really easy and it's simple, but it's really, really important. Another technique that's very important when you're braiding someone's hair, you always want to make sure you have 3 even pieces of hair so that your braid is consistent in size from the top to the bottom. Now to do this technique, what you want to do is split your hair and have a thin piece and then a thicker piece. I have the thin piece on the right and the thicker piece on the left. What you're going to do is take the thin piece and wrap it around the thick piece and combine it together. In doing that, it's going to create a thicker piece from the thin piece of hair, and then it should create equal amounts of hair on all 3 sides. And again, this is just to make sure your braid is consistent in the size from the top to the end of the braid. Now I've mentioned this before. I always part the hair and I take edge control and I put that on the scalp, and then I repart it to make sure that that part stays very clean. It's not called edge control for nothing, so you want to use that to control the hair so you don't have hair flying into the other parts of the braids. If a person wants to get box braids, triangles, some people even like circle or oval shaped parts. You want to make sure that those are clean enough so people can tell that they're triangles or squares or whatever. Another useful tip that I can give you whenever you're braiding someone's hair and they want really long braids, it's best to go in and braid the hair from the scalp and go about halfway down and then stop. Then once you completed all the braids on the head, then go back and do the tips. There are many reasons why you may want to do this. Number one, if your hands cramp up, sometimes mine do. So if your hands cramp up, go ahead and use those first few hours to at least get the braids on the head. Number two, if you're standing up like I do, I have to stand up when I braid people's hair. If you're standing up, you might get tired. So you want to use your best energy to at least get the braids in the head before you get tired. That way, if you're tired, all you have to do is go back and just do the ends. Number three, some people like to stop and come back the next day to get their braids finished. I personally don't like to do braids 2 days in a row. I like to do it in one setting and be done with it. But if your client decides that they want to stop and come back, you can at least have most of the braids or all of the braids in, and then when they come back the next day, you just braid the tips and go down to the ends. When I've completed all of the braids, I always go in with some mousse and set the hair. Basically, to set it is to make sure nothing unravels toward the scalp. And then at the very ends, I dip that in hot water to make sure that doesn't unravel. And here I'm just going back to finish braiding some of the ends that I stopped on. And just to mention, this process took about 5 hours. It was a little under 5 hours to complete. And don't forget the edges. That's going to make the hairstyle look 100 times better. So even if the client doesn't want baby hair swooped around, always just take some edge control and brush the hair back toward the hairline. Now the little brush comb that you see me using to lay her edges, she had actually bought that from the hair store, and that was my first time using it, and I really liked the way it looked. So I think I'm gonna go and buy me one soon. It made the edges look a lot better than the normal rat tail comb that I would usually use. Like I mentioned, I always take boiling hot water and dip the ends of the braids in the water. It makes it look so much better to me. I think to me it adds a shine to the hair. Once you dip it and take it out, it looks so much better. It also seals the ends so that the braids don't unravel. And you want to make sure you don't burn your client with the hot water, because I burn myself, but I'd rather burn myself than to burn the client. So I always put a towel on their back, and I use a separate towel to drain the water from the braids. Alright y'all, so this is the end of the video, and this is the final look on how the braids came out. They came out really cute. She really liked her braids. I've done her hair many times and she always likes the way I do her hair. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, and thanks again for watching. Bye.